Excellent, and welcome to the TADSummit Innovator Podcast. We have Team Jazz, one of the winners of the SignalWire prize, with an excellent hack. Was really impressed, well, as Brian was as well, because he awarded them their prize. So please, Team Jazz, introduce yourself.
I'm David Sikes.
Ashcraft. John Wilder.
Short and sweet. So what it suggests is let's just cut to the chase. Please describe your hack and, if possible, give us a little bit of a demo.
Certainly. John, why don't you talk about what we asked your mother and what she gave us back for information on some of the bigger problems in healthcare that she's seen as a nurse, and also not just healthcare in a hospital environment, but she also gave us some really good information on the biggest problems she saw just in any care environment. Yeah. So what we ended up doing was actually targeted more towards like a home care environment where you might be taking care of an elderly loved one or something like that. So do you want to talk a little bit about what we asked her and what we got?
Okay, so what we asked her, you just basically already said all of it. You basically said all of it.
It was fantastic. So I think you started off with, I want to do something medical care related, and I said, excellent. So what problems do we have in that field? And John said, well, my mom's was a nurse, and I said, oh my God, get her on the phone.
so that's what we did. And it was great. She had so much insight into the field, and she gave us so many really good ideas that we were able to try and implement. The one that stood out to us was diabetes management, because one of the main things that she was talking about was there are not too many very good tools for tracking and managing diabetes. Mm-hmm. For instance, blood sugar and stuff like that. So that was one of the ideas that we had, was to create something to make that a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, she was telling us not only about how these were big problems that she saw both in a professional, maybe hospital environment, and in home care. She also did a little research and gave us some, I hesitate to call it fantastic because they're really horrible symptoms, but basically what we found out from her was uncontrolled diabetes can cause tons and tons of really bad symptoms in the patient when not controlled well. So anything that we could do to help look at trends in blood sugar, help to notify caregivers if there are problems with the blood sugar values coming back, anything to basically control it better would be a great help to really everyone involved.
Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense, because it impacts how you respond to infections in terms of blood flow to particular limbs. So you could even have limb loss with sustained poor management. So absolutely, and of course it's within most developed countries, diabetes is at epidemic levels amongst not even the aged. I mean, it's like, young people are suffering from it as well, which is utterly astounding. But anyway, this is always one of the things with TADHack. It's, problems that matter to you, and having direct objective experience on these problems enables you to get the feedback, the guidance to create a solution that can hit some of the major pain points. So again, great way of creating such a powerful hack. So well done, guys. So please, go on.
Well, so one of the first things we had as an experience was we decided, well, we're going to need to send this information somehow. We should obviously send a text. This is, something that's very, very important, and something that a caregiver would want to know right now, potentially, when there is a problem, because as far as I know, even fixing things in a matter of minutes or hours can still help dramatically. So we were very pleased because Brian showed us how to get started with the Docker image for one of the SignalWire examples. All of them fantastic examples, by the way. thank you very much for putting the effort into doing those and organizing them. And we were up and running. I think we sent a example text in a matter of an hour or so.
It was like around, like what, 12 o'clock? 12 o'clock?
Yeah,
Yeah. In the afternoon, yeah.
it was fantastic. Work on the rest of it from there. It's been one of the best hacking experiences with vendor software and API that we've ever had.
Excellent. That's great to hear. The best. Wow, Brian. High praise.
Well, thank you, guys. That what I set out to do is exactly what you experienced, and I took every bit of your feedback of every. You know, we hit some speed bumps along the way, and I took all of that feedback to me and my DevX team, and we have smoothed all of that out even more.
Beautiful.
So my goal is to continue down this path of making this as painless as possible. Because like I outlined, I have to cater to people that learn from example, and I have to cater to people that learn from documentation. And then this allows me to do everything in between in a controlled environment and ensure that you are able to get started and going quickly.
Yeah, I think I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think we are all in the learn by example camp. And to give an example of that, one of the things we wanted to do last minute, and this was like a good portion of the way into the second day, so we didn't have much time left, was we changed kind of how we wanted to deliver the message. And I was able to go into SignalWire's examples, find one that was doing exactly what we wanted to do and in the language that we were using for the hack. And I think we were up and running with that new feature literally half an hour. Like, it was wonderful.
Wow. These are impressive times. Just getting something up and running within an hour and then adding a new feature, 30 minutes. I don't think we've had, I can't remember any of the teams quoting such impressive times. So well done, guys.
It's a real testament to Brian and his team for all the hard work they've put into their tools.
Exactly.
But you definitely, Alan, you've seen us come, an hour after demos have started going, we swear we're getting there. Having something on the first day in a few hours where we can just start hacking on our stuff after that versus worrying about, documentation issues or API problems is wonderful. And it was just a really fun experience.
Excellent. Excellent. Anyway, back to your demo.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead. Can I share my screen?
Absolutely.
You go ahead and do that. And pull this up. All right. So this is our front end that we made for our Jazz Health Assistant. And one of the things we were told by John's mother was not only are being able to look at trends and past information very important, but current information for, if the person we had in mind was basically, she said there's a lot of problems in home care where you've got a family member taking care of, say, an elderly family member who wants to live alone and retain their independence. But you as a caregiver need to know when there's a problem. And so this is one way we thought that the elderly family member could put in the data. Just, if they're at all technologically adept, you can give them a web page and they just come in here and, put in the values from there. I'll put in a fairly high one, put in their values that they've just read off of their blood sugar meter. But we could just as easily take this information from, a smart blood sugar meter, or one of the fun things I did, and this is another testament to how easy it is to get up and running with SignalWire. I went to a SignalWire event where Brian was talking about making telephone bots. You call in, and he gave the example of he made a complete system where people could call in and make reservations at this fictional restaurant that he created. And it was absurdly impressive. And even his demo was many times better than any experience I've ever had with a actual commercial implemented by a company, real automated assistant. The things that SignalWire are doing are very cool. But at that event, I was actually hacked, and I was able to get up and running in the space of that, hour and a half or so.
Gotcha.
Where you can actually call in to a number, and the SignalWire assistant that I created will actually prompt you for your blood sugar information. And once it gets it and it ensures it understands it and it was in a range that, makes sense, so it knows it got the right information, it would move on to heart rate, and it would be, something that you could give to even a very not technologically adept elderly family member.
Yep.
And it would just walk them through it very slowly and carefully. And it would be fantastic, because I did have elderly family members that just did not want anything to do with a computer. And again, I made that assistant and got it to the point where I was getting data into our program in probably hour and a half tops.
Excellent.
So I'm not 100% sure what this is going to do, but let's go ahead and add this.
Yep.
And it does. Good. Excellent. So you can see in the trend, had a concerning blood sugar of 190.
Yep.
And this is actually going to send a text. I think it's currently hooked up to my phone to, in fact, it just has
Excellent.
Just for it. So saying, so-and-so's name has had a concerningly high blood sugar reading, and it sends you the number so that you know what it was. And of course, you have the time that the text came in, so you know exactly when it was. And then presumably the family member that's a caregiver can come on here and see the trends, see the current information, and, they can decide, well, do I want to have a conversation, maybe drive over there, make sure the insulin is being administered correctly, or is this concerning enough that I maybe want to call a medical professional and go from there?
Yeah.
But this tool would give you the information that you need to make that decision, and make that decision much faster than if you, have them writing it down in a notebook and maybe visited once every few days and said, oh my God, it was what on Wednesday kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's cool.
Go ahead and stop now. Yeah. And if you want, I can show some of the facts that we've got in the slides for what John's mother gave us for research for why this is such a big deal and how this can be a big problem. If you'd like me to do that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, the research you did, behind creating this hack is, as equally important, because it helped you make it, as real as possible. And I think, when you're creating that simple agent to be able to gather the data, so the elderly relative doesn't even need to use the web or the laptop or all those other issues. They can just basically, receive a call when they're supposed to be doing it, taking the measurements, and then just entering the data from there. So
absolutely. Yeah, the information, so our information, let's go to, and this was John's mother. We asked her exactly what's on the screen. What are the problems that you saw as a nurse? What are the problems you saw as a nurse, both in a hospital environment, but also just in general with medical care?
Yeah.
And we got some honestly pretty scary information back, which is, uncontrolled diabetes can do everything from, destroying your kidneys to blindness to, and
who would have thought that not taking care of yourself would lead to problems down the road?
Absolutely. And also told us, who it affects. And the answer is a lot.
Yes.
And so we were able to make a very compelling case for why this is a very important hack.
Absolutely. Cool. No, that was excellent description. And, the classic, do the research, find something that matters, and then use the sponsors tools to create, it doesn't have to be a complete solution. It's just, a piece of it. Brian, anything you liked particularly about what they did?
I really enjoyed how they applied everything. They went in using the technology, but the human element of it. I thought this was a very unique way to like tie the things together from a computer standpoint and a human standpoint. Because I always talk about when you're using our AI, it's more human than human sometimes, and that's frustrating as a result. But you can use that to your advantage because it can reason and do things that you didn't realize. And so using those things to your advantage is what this team did.
Gotcha.
On top of everything else. So they went and thought outside of the bubble and really drove a thing home. Now we did have another entrant. I have never had the luxury of being called fat by an AI, but I was that day. Theirs didn't do that. Theirs didn't do that. But I did have another one. I was like, I've never been called fat by an AI, but we'll go with that.
Exactly. And I said my family do it all the time, so you get used to it.
Yeah.
Johnny, do you have any questions for the guys?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have a situation where my mother-in-law just went home. She's got really bad diabetes, and the timing on this thing. And I'm one of the few people that cried when their mother-in-law left. Number one, because she can cook. Number two, I don't understand what she says, so it's the greatest relationship in the world. She speaks no English, so she speaks. I speak English. We spend a lot of time together, and I'm concerned and worried about her. And she's elderly; she can still handle herself. But how do you go about? Because this is just brilliant. I mean, diabetes it's an epidemic. It's a lot worse than. Look, some of the statistics that you guys are looking at, I'm a little bit older. I have a lot of friends and a lot of people older now. And it's not something, in a lot of cases, it's also genetics. It's not bad living that gives you this. So it's a really bad epidemic. It's an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about, so you have this hack, right? Okay, so I want this hack, right? I want to use this for my mother-in-law. How do I do it?
We can, Brian, do you want to describe the process of setting up, something like this? I know you've done dozens, but this is actually a basically ready to go solution. It obviously needs a lot of polish and such and some more features filled out because it was just a hack, but the ease of getting this into something that is actually usable because of Brian's easy Docker container.
Why wouldn't you turn this into a product? Because
I know you're not wrong. You are actually hitting on something that I was about to talk about. Was this is a hop, skip, and a jump to a product, and we've given the roadmap, we've given the path. Somebody just needs to take, build, and monetize on it, and it is a very it's needed. It is a very needed thing.
Your stats are off. It's a lot worse than your stats are.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
No, you're not wrong.
So bad.
The actuality of what they demonstrated is just a fraction of the reality.
Yeah. No, it's. And kids diabetes. Parents wanting this, and the communication, whether it be a phone call or a text and a reminder, and somebody else monitoring it. And brilliant product. As a business guy. I would like to know how do you get this into the market? Because even if it just does what you guys set up and you don't make it too confusing, that's what people want. Most simplistic products and things, create an app or here, this is what we do. What else you do? This is all we do. This is enough. Shut up and use it. Because you're going to get people wanting to use it.
Yeah, we will take that into consideration. That's
absolutely.
Very, very meaningful.
It's important. What you guys have just built is important. It's important to me. Just listening, I'm like, I can get this from my mother-in-law.
Oh yeah.
I'm just looking at it selfishly. As I know my wife, if she watches this, she's going to be calling you out and you're in trouble. Big trouble. I'm like, I want that now. I'm like, honey, I can't get it to you now. It's a hack, and these guys put it together. I don't, because they're going to want it. She's
The
got
hard
3
part-
kids.
and they've done the hard part. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like when you approach technology, you approach new ways of applying technology. The hard part is getting everything working correctly. And there's probably a lot of things we need to do here to make this into a actual product, but it's not that far away now, and it's proven it. Like they've proved it.
Yes.
Now, what can we do to go from this to the next level?
Yep. And it's absolutely.
I would keep it simple, just like this.
Right. Keep it simple. That's the fun part. You got to keep everything simple.
Yeah.
It's a notification service for loved ones, right? Monitoring service. Like, it's really impressive. But then again,
You have
who
to
gets the credit on this? Is the SignalWire? Because I'm giving them a lot of credit lately. I'd like to give you guys
I
some
think
credit.
it was a lot of teamwork.
A lot of teamwork.
A lot of teamwork.
Really impressive. This has been pretty amazing.
Yeah, there was everyone, on this team pulled more than their share of the weight, and it was fantastic. But it is a huge testament to SignalWire that we were able to make something fully functional and that you're calling pretty much a finished app in,
A weekend.
yeah,
It's 24 hours. I mean,
stops.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, Alan, if you hashtag, because we have quite an audience on LinkedIn, which is staggering. We get hundreds of thousands of impressions. I think if you advertise this to people with diabetes and say, we had a product that did this, this, and this, would you use it? And you keep it really simple. Like you just bang, 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 bang. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. No, you got to stand on your head on Tuesday. And then now you get a phone call. Here you go. That's it.
Re-ask that. Let us know what they say.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alan, really lay this one out.
No,
This is
no.
good.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
your time.
Yeah.
It's a
I
great
agree.
product.
Yep. No. And it's interesting with the SignalWire folks as well, because as they have people building more stuff, especially on the AI age, so gateway. There's a community, there's a distribution amongst a cadre of geeks, but also geeks that are looking for taking stuff to market. So it's that borderline sort of edge community that could be an opportunity for just somebody hacking it together, and then how it is, businesses grow out of just
me and my team are here to help anybody that wants to approach this technology and apply it. We have a lot of new customers come on the daily. They come up and they have these really awesome ideas, and we give them guidance and direction. And like, here's where you need to focus. These are the things you need to do. Me and my team are here for anybody that wants to approach us, implement our AI agent, which is one of the very few turnkey AI agents on the market today.
Correct.
Everything on board. You're good to go. You don't have to worry about instrumentation, scaffolding. We have everything there you need. And soon we'll have Ragstack. So
excellent.
Amazing.
Looking forward to
really
that.
Fun to play with. I just got into it a little bit when I was working at the event you had, but it was really fun to be able to tell the AI just in plain English, here's the information you need to get. It's going to be health information. And then, I need in particular this, and this, and just have it send back, the data. And it was fantastic to just be able to tell the computer what to do in plain English.
Well, that's what I tell people. Like, the fun part about working with our AI agent, it knows everything and it knows nothing. It's one or the other, and your prompt and how you guide it is how you get the behaviors you want. And that's the fun part of it all, because now you start to think about how you interact with other humans, because how you interact with the AI is more human than a computer. So I've had a lot of people approach it with a programmer's mindset. And when they do that, it's a failure cause right off the bat. Like, this is a human. Treat it like a human. Give it a name, give it a personality, talk to it as if were a person, and you'll have a better outcome, because that right there is how you guide it to get what you want out of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I still remember one of my first projects of many months ago where I was just beginning to play with the AI, and I was making just a very simple example app, do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign creation tool. And I ran into the problem of well, if there's one creature, you just put the creature name from this database of names. If there's multiple creatures, then if I'm describing to someone how many creatures there are, you can't just tell the computer, take the creature name and pluralize it, because depending on the root language and everything, that's a very complicated problem. And then I realized I was working with an AI, and I literally told it, here's the name, please pluralize that. And it was a chat bot. And so I said, only respond with that one word in your response. And it was such a strange feeling solving a problem, not algorithmically, but literally just asking the computer nicely to solve it. And it worked fantastically.
Well,
Yeah.
on top of that, Tony has done one in the last week, which is Infocom's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We plugged that particular engine into our AI. And what is fun is we have now got this sliding window of, and this is a new feature that's coming out. It's in production today. It's not documented. My team is working on documenting it, but it is a sliding window of context. So like if you've ever played Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know how that game goes. And
Yeah.
what we do is the AI's only job is to take what it hears, formulate it into the engine, get the output, and interpret. So the AI is not doing a whole bunch here, but the interactions. So now it keeps it into this mold of like doing this AI Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy like clockwork. And
Excellent.
so I'm fixing to do a similar example with blackjack, where the AI is not in charge of the scoring or the cards.
Mhm.
That's all happening outside of the AI. So I can show people sometimes the AI doesn't need to be involved in certain aspects of what you're doing, but you can use it to your advantage to do those things, to link those non-continuous things together.
Gotcha. Interesting. That's really
That's
cool.
what I really liked as I was starting to play with the SignalWire AI stuff, was there's so many really powerful features you can do, especially when interacting with humans, like it's meant to be used for, where you just tell it, this is the kind of thing you either need to get, or this is the kind of feeling you need to convey, and here's what we're trying to accomplish. And just in a few sentences, it does it.
Cool. No.
Yeah, I'm
that's
hearing too
excellent.
much about the SignalWire AI. So, Brian, we had Anthony on a podcast
Mhm.
a few months ago where he proclaimed he passed his dad, and Puck a little bit different. But since then we've had private AI, we've had the guys from Vapey that that just raised a lot of money in the AI space. We've got a bunch of companies that we're talking to. I'd love to get you on by yourself talking about AI and talking about, because all I'm hearing is what your guys are doing in the next gen and the next level. I'd like
love
to
to
have,
do it.
I'd like to have an Innovators podcast where it's dumb meets smart, and we let Alan kind of navigate.
And what I tell people, look, I didn't graduate high school. I got my GED, and here I am neck deep in AI, and I really enjoy what I do. So what I want to frame it as is, if you have a mindset and you want to do these things, set your mind to it. You can do anything. Like, not like my personal motto is, not knowing has never stopped me. So that is literally what I've lived by. And I can tell you, when I was in first grade, this is what got me in trouble. That teacher told me I couldn't put that square peg in the round hole. I took my pocket knife to school the next morning, put that square peg in the round hole. And that is a true story. And that is why I got held back in first grade.
Yeah, I was a little bit different. I took the pocket knife out, made her do it.
No, it has happened. Oh, Lord.
We were in the same class.
like me telling me no was the number one thing that got me going, oh, I can do this. No, it was never the answer. And I've always approached everything from that mindset of, not knowing has never stopped me. I will figure this out. And I do find that not knowing certain aspects, I don't have my mind locked into this box of understanding. I have a different outcome and an outlook on things that I never thought possible as a result of that. So I thrive on that. I thrive on chaos. I thrive on challenge, and I really enjoy it.
Well, for me, it's been studying AI myself, and I've got different projects that are coming at me, whether it be through a family office I'm working with on deals, and trying to understand it all. And the more I'm learning about it, the more simplistic it comes down to. So, AI is just a big buzzword. It's like, but what I'm hearing, practicality of what you guys are doing, I need an education, and I need to know, because look, you guys are SignalWire, you're free switch. You guys, like I've been saying, like, why are you talking to anybody else but these guys? Like, they're already. I mean, say like Alan, like we need to do an AI SignalWire walkthrough for the market.
No, through the gateway, absolutely. No,
I mean, we just had Matrix on.
Yep.
They didn't know what to do with me. I'm like, you guys, what an important company. And
like I've told
marketing.
people, we're out here calling out the BS. Like I did a post today calling out the BS. Like these things aren't real. This is not reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Snake oil. You got to be careful across the AI spectrum. It's like, I have this like feeling that there's this massive misunderstanding of what it is.
Yeah.
And they think it's this magical thing that's going to wave.
No, it's not a feeling. It is.
So it's like, that's what I have experienced personally. So.
Yep. No, absolutely. But let's wrap this one up. So Jared, John, David, well done for such an excellent hack. And thank you so much for your time. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a good